What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity build a video. Today we're going to be doing a contest to mayor's pre-test. Now, the reason for this video is because a couple of the group members that I have in my club, they wanted to become comm trainers eventually, right? Now, in order to become a comm trainer in my group, I have to make sure that you can give 100% authentic advice with both high and low level comm. Doesn't make sense to have somebody be a trainer if they don't understand high level comm. That's ridiculous, right? Especially since high level comm is so much easier to understand than low level comm. Okay, that being said, basically, I knew that a lot of them were not ready because, let's face it, most of them just don't flat pay attention to half the shit I say. I don't know if it's that this shit is that hard to learn or if people are just that careless or what. Now, I'm not referring to everybody, but I'm referring to a lot of people. They don't participate in the exercises, and when they do, they get the very easy questions very, very wrong. But then they think that they're ready to, be tested or whatever the case may be. Over the last year, I've had a lot of people come to me and want, a test. So usually what ends up happening, though, is they take the test, they fail the test, and then they get discouraged. And that's why I don't like giving the test. However, if you're that easily discouraged, then really you probably just should give up now. That's just kind of how I feel about it at this point. So we're going to go through the questions that I asked them, and you can try to answer them for yourself, but there are a couple things that you need to know before we get into the questions. You're going to pause the video, take the test, then you can come back, get the answers. Okay? I'm going to give you the answers that they gave before I give you the authentic answers, and we're going to go through it together. Before you take this test, what I had told them was they cannot look up any documents, no guides, no videos, they can't help each other, nothing, okay? There's no time limit on it or anything like that, but basically anybody who's ever taken my test before knows that I like to do trick questions because I need you to be able to see things that others don't. When somebody sends me a list, I have to look at everything, okay? And I mean everything. I have to think about the things that they don't think about. And if you're not capable of doing that, then you're not capable of training somebody. Playing your own week is already hard enough, but training somebody else is a whole different thing. One thing that I learned while training people is that everything that I say has to be 100% exact. If I say something like, the order of rotation is to do your main premiums, what do you think people are going to do for high-level comm? They're going to do exactly that. And they're going to say, well, I have a 2400 repair here. This is a non-premium task, right? And they're going to say, well, you said to do my main premiums. Well, did I mean that you don't do your non-premiums? No, it's a main task, but I said main premiums. Give me just a second, you guys. Okay, I am back. So, before you take this test, you need to know that you need to think of everything. You need to think outside the box. That there's a lot of kind of trick questions here. Sometimes the answer is in the question. Let me put it to you like that, okay? So we're going to go through and I'm going to tell you what these questions are. What is the first thing that you do? First thing you do at... The hell? That's a fucked up typo, isn't it? What is the first thing you do when grading a list? Look at is what it's supposed to say. What is the first thing you look at when grading a list? I wonder why everybody kept asking me what the fuck that question was. Jesus Christ, it's way too early for this shit. It's like 5:30 here. Okay, what is the first thing you look at when grading a list? Okay. What is the difference in a task assessment and a comm breakdown? Now, this one I knew that pretty much everybody was going to fail because they really honestly never look at the guide. And when they do, they just flat don't care, apparently. But in the task assessment video that I just recently put up, I went through and I told you guys many times the difference between a task assessment and a comm breakdown. It is in the comm guide. If you want to cheat yourself and go look at the answer, go ahead, but that really just means that you didn't know it. So you can't really pat yourself on the back too much, right? Okay, list 5 non-premium and premium tasks. If you start your week with an upgrade in the streaks, what do? What is the order in which you rotate high upgrades? Name 3 high algorithm tasks low-level players use to bring in upgrades and factory tasks. Give exact detail. So, again, if you've taken any of my tests, you know that you need to pay very, very close attention to exactly how I word the question. Okay? I also informed you guys that this test was going to be for both high and low-level comm. Okay, so you need to remember that as well. So if you get tripped up on one of these questions, that's kind of your fault. Name a no-touch task. What is reverse rotation? Number 9. Level 24, Mega, 10 hours remaining. Streaks, Chems for 1,300. And then there is a list of assignments there. And then it immediately goes to number 10. List the order of rotation for high-level players. Okay? So you can pause this video, take this test. I'll give you guys a second to screenshot this if you want, or whatever. And turn my frickin' alarm off. Hang on. Okay. And there's number 9 and 10. Alright. Now we're going to go and check out the answers that my trainees gave me. Okay, this was stars. So for number 1, which was what is the first thing you look at when grading a list? He put set the scene. Number 2, a task assessment is identifying the algorithm, risk, and opportunity of each task, as well as premium, non-premium, main, rotatable, whereas a breakdown is only the latter. Okay. Number 3, non-premium. He put monsters non-premium, which that is factual. Residential, I'm assuming he means regular residential. Cargo. Repair. Keys. Those are all technically non-premium tasks, so he got that part of that question correct, right? Okay. Premium. VU. I'm assuming he means war delivery. Okay. Tokyo, London, and electrical. Again, assuming that he means upgrades or deliveries. I don't know. Point being, this would not fly on the actual test. The way that these answers are worded, you have to be exact. I don't know if Tokyo and London means upgrade or delivery. Technically, either one is premium. But I could see how that way of wording things could kind of screw you over later is all I'm saying. Okay? Then it says, for number 4, he said, which was what to do if you get an upgrade in the streaks. Cancel before 40 tasks remaining. Number 5, he said, please clarify. Now, he had come to me with this question, and this question was the one that said, in what order do people rotate their, do high-level players rotate their upgrades? Now, he's not a high-level player, but he did know that this was going to be for both high and low-level people, so that's just part of it. That being said, there is an order in which you guys should be rotating your upgrades. Okay, whether they be of different values or not, when you get to your rotatables, you have an order, okay, that you rotate them in. Obviously, if something is a main task, you're not going to rotate it over a rotatable. For example, let's say that you rotate, you would normally rotate an Omega before a regular residential because Omega's premium and regular residential is non-premium. Does that mean that you would leave a regular residential for 2,400 to sit while you have a 1,000 Omega sitting there at the bottom? No. You would do the 2,400 regular residential because it's at main task value. But what order do you rotate them in? Okay? So when the tasks are at rotatable value or of equal value, what order do they get rotated in? That is what that question means. Now, I've given you enough hints on that one. So he did fail that question. Now we have number 6, and this question was, what tasks do low-level players use to bring in upgrades and factory productions? And I said, give exact detail, is what the question said. He said, repair keys, coins. Now, anybody who's taken my test, which he has not, but anybody else who's taken my test knows that I expect you, one, show your work, and two, every single thing, like I said, when I word a question, I want you to give me more than what you would normally give me. So when I said exact detail, there was something specific that I was looking for there. And then it says, number 7 was name a no-touch task, and he said a 1,000 monster. Okay. All tasks come in for low value, including upgrades. That was, what is reverse rotation? Okay, so again, that question it's not that that question is technically incorrect. What the part in which he answered is not technically incorrect, but he didn't elaborate enough, so it's incorrect. In other words, if he's a comm trainer and somebody comes to him and says, hey, what's reverse rotation? The whole point in this test is to make sure that you can train people, right? And he's got this person who's brand new, and they say, well, hey, yo, what's reverse rotation? And that is the answer that he gives. Do you know how I can dissect that to not make any sense? Well, you said all tasks come in for low value, including upgrades. So last week, Star was in reverse rotation. But his starting list, he had a 2400 Latin that he never touched. He's a low-level player, so he didn't cancel it. It's been there from the beginning of the week. Well, here we are, let's say 40, 50 tasks into the week, and he's got this Latin sitting there. So you said, by your answer, that all tasks would be there of low value, but that one's there of high value, so you can't be in reverse rotation, right? Well, it's been sitting there since the very start of the week, though. So yeah, you could be in reverse rotation and still technically have something on your list, right? That's the type of stuff that's going to confuse people. Trust me, I know. I've trained enough of you guys to know that I know that it sounds like, okay, that's a bit ridiculous. Who wouldn't know that? No, it really is that bad, you guys. The things that people comprehend in their head, it just amazes me. Like, I would have never thought that anybody would have taken something I said that way, and they do. And I'm just like over here going, are you serious? And then like 5 more people come out the woodwork, and I'm like, how could you even think that? But they do, and trust me, I've had to eat my words many times and be like, okay, let me word it better so that this doesn't happen again. And that's a lot of why I've had to redo my comm guides and everything else, because people, I assume that there's some level of common sense there, but then again, you know, a lot of people need exact things to be shown to them. They take every word as like literally. So that's the way I've started wording everything, is literally. Okay? Now, number 9, can't remember what number 9 was. Hold up. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. So number 9 said, level 24 mega, 10 hours remaining, streaks, chems, and then there was a list, and he picked feed. Okay. And then for number 10, main tasks, then low premiums with highest algorithm. Okay, that was, in what order do high-level players, what is the rules of rotation for high-level players? Main tasks, then low premiums with highest algorithm. Okay. Now we're going to go into Lala's answers. Now, I honestly am going to compliment her for her effort here. Not only did she give really lengthy answers, but it was in a decent document. She put the question in there. Like, it looks like she put in like a formal test. So I do compliment her on that. Okay? Almost looks better than my test. Now let's see if she got any right. What is the first thing you look at when grading a list? I'm surprised she didn't correct my wording. Little bitch would have totally done that. Alright. Then I would have yelled at her for correcting my wording and been like, no, you can't do that. That would have been awesome. Ensure that the person has submitted the screenshots properly, meaning top and bottom. Okay, yes, technically I would do that. Okay, but that's not the answer I was looking for. Meaning top and bottom of every 5 tasks or so when choice wasn't obvious. Then select choice made. That's the first thing. Okay. that's not really the answer I was going for. Now, the reason that, you remember when I said that people take questions in their own way? You know, like I said, what is the first thing you look at when grading a list? I didn't say what is the first thing that you're supposed to do before you decide to grade someone's list. Kind of see where I'm going with that? Like, you know, grade somebody's list if their shit's all jacked up. Like, but I understand kind of what led her to that answer. But yeah, that's technically no, that is not correct. Okay, what is the difference in a task assessment and a comm breakdown? A task assessment is when you state what all you know about each task. Okay, that part is true. Its algorithm, its risks, value it should be rotated in. Okay, that's technically true. That's usually what I do in the task assessments on the walkthrough, right? What value is not to be touched? What value does not to be touched at? Is it limited? Basically everything you know about the task. Comm breakdown is when you mark the starting list and divide it amongst main task, rotatable task, no touch, premium, non-premium. She got a lot of this right, but this question is still, or this answer is still incorrect, technically. But she did better than Star did, technically. Okay. List 5 non-premium and 5 premium tasks. Now, she and TK were the only ones that noticed this, and that's kind of what I was going for. I wasn't going to mark anybody wrong for it, but I wanted to see who would notice this and who would not. Remember when I said this test was about low and high level people? 5 non-premium tasks versus 5 premium tasks. Technically, there's 5 non-premiums that go for both high and low level comm. Same thing with premiums, that they match up exactly. And that's why technically Star passed that question. But what I was looking for was actually what Lala said and TK. And that is that, okay, for low-level people, I wanted them to acknowledge that there is a difference between low and high-level premiums versus non-premiums. How many videos do I say for high-level players we would mark this, for low-level players we would mark it this way, right? They actually did that. Now let's see if they actually marked them right. Okay, low level, premium, airport deliveries minus Paris. Okay, technically that is true. Low level, so this is a low level people. So launch VU, war card, war deliveries. And that would be 1. Okay, that would actually be 2 because of the deliveries. Okay, so yes, she did good on that. Non-premium, earn coins, monster, design, tasks. Okay, so 1, 2, design tasks. There's only 4 there, right? Earn coins, the monster, then there's the design upgrade and the submit design. You only listed 4. So I'm not going to mark her wrong because technically I said just list 5 non-premium and 5 premiums, right? But the fact that she did acknowledge that there was low and high level, Lala, you should have listed another one there. But technically that wasn't, you know, failing the question. Okay, high level. Premium. House upgrades minus regular. London, Tokyo deliveries. Launch VU. War card upgrade. HQ tasks, earn regional coins. Electric, war deliveries. Non-premium. Factory production minus electric, shop productions, monster, regular home upgrade, and earn coins, neo, or regular. That is correct. Okay, so I'm not going to mark that question wrong, but yeah, I already explained that. Okay, number 4. If you start your week with an upgrade in the streaks, what do you do? Remember, what was Star's answer? Cancel as soon as, before 40 tasks, right? So, what did I say, though, about the test, it being high and low level? Well, if it's a high level player, are you really going to cancel it? No. But you're not thinking. You're only thinking from your point of view. You have to start thinking from their point of view. That's part of being a comm trainer. If somebody comes to you randomly, you're going to be dealing with all different people, right? If you're a comm trainer. Somebody just randomly hits you up and they're like, hey, yo, I need some help. Oh, go ahead and cancel it. Don't even bother looking at what level they are. Just assume they're a low-level player and tell them to cancel it. No, that's not how you do shit, right? So, for low level, you would start with your normal, this is what she says. You would start with your normal list, try to stack up as many upgrades. Once you have all but one left, cancel the one in the streaks. But make sure to have some tasks in hand that will be needed to rotate in order to secure the last upgrade in. Since one streak would be canceled, 3 more tasks would get... One streak would be canceled. 3 more tasks would get more than when we absolutely need to start streaks. 6 tasks remaining. Okay, so I see what she's trying to say. She's trying to say if you canceled it, you could technically go all the way down to 6 tasks remaining. So, technically, a lot of what she said here was correct, but the way that it was worded is exactly what would jam you up if you were training somebody, because what it sounds like is that they should not cancel their upgrade until they have 6 upgrades in the list. And that's actually not what her answer should have stated. It should have said something along the lines of, try to stack up as many upgrades as you can, but you need to cancel within X amount of assignments. About within the first 40 assignments, allowing at least 20 assignments for it to come back. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed. If you don't have, 6 upgrades in your list by 20 assignments remaining anyways, I mean, you're going to have to take a risk. You're just going to have to. Because at that point, you really can't afford to take it down and leave yourself like three tasks to try to get that upgrade in. So technically that answer is incorrect, because if you were to give that advice to somebody, that would make it sound like they have to wait until they have 6 upgrades in their list. But really, what you guys really should be doing in this situation is you want to have as many upgrades in the list as possible while allowing yourself enough time to get that upgrade back. And the reason for that is because if you cancel an upgrade while you don't have them in the main list, you have higher chances of it coming back in the streaks. If you have, let's say, 6 out of 7 upgrades already in the main list, then you have a very low chance of the one that you canceled coming immediately back in the streaks, right? That is why, is to lower the chance of an upgrade coming in the streaks. All right, high level, you would take it as normal, do what you need to start the streaks. Okay, again, acknowledging that there's 2 different play styles here. Something that Star did not do. All right, number 5. What is the order in which you rotate high? What is the order in which you rotate high upgrades? Okay, so here she kind of elaborated, which is fine. But basically, in comparison is between... Okay, so what does she say? High upgrades means 2,000 or above. So they're at main task value. Hold on, you guys. All right. Your main task value, if you have a 3,600... So technically what I meant by high upgrades is what do high-level players do when, rotating upgrades. So that I'm not going to mark her wrong for, because I guess I understand how she took that, but that's not really what I meant. But either way, whether it be a high value or a low value or whatever, the order that I was asking for is still pretty much going to remain the same if you're not talking about value, okay? So she goes in to say, well, if value is equal, then it's still the same, right? So you have your high premiums, which is your Latin and your Old Town, which is going to be a starting point at 1,200. So if you're looking at rotatable, for example, you have a rotatable Latin versus a rotatable Omega. The Latin's going to be worth 1,200, so it's automatically going to be higher. So you would rotate Latin and Old Town first, because they're high premiums. Then which one? Well, then you would go with Omega, because it has the highest algorithm. Okay? Then you would go with Regional, second highest algorithm. Then Airport. Then you would go with the non-premiums of regular residential, and then at the very bottom, design challenge. If you had to, right? Now, that's assuming that that is the correct choice based on all the other criteria that you look at when rotating tasks. But that is the order. So if you're sitting there and you've got upgrade, let's say Paris for 1,000, and a upgrade Tokyo for 1,000, upgrade Omega for 1,000, and then upgrade Green Valley. They're all at 1,000 points. You start with the Omega, then you go to the Green Valley, then you go to the airport that's usually Tokyo, or sitting the longest, then you go to Paris. Okay? Usually airport doesn't matter in which order you rotate, but I always have my players usually pick the one that's been sitting the longest or is further down on the list. Okay, let's see here. Name 3 high algorithm tasks low-level players use to bring in upgrades and factory tasks. So, hold on. She didn't specify that you would do the non-premium residentials. That's the answer I was going for, but the only reason I'm not going to mark her wrong is because of how she took this question. Because she took it as high upgrades. No, technically that still would have been wrong, actually, because it could have been at high value. You could have had a 2400 design, a 2400 regular residential. So technically you did get this question wrong. You should have, even if you took it that way, you still should have acknowledged that there's 2 more upgrades there to add to the list, and in what order would you rotate them. So yes, technically you got that wrong. Okay, name the 3 high algorithm tasks low-level players use to bring in upgrades and factory tasks. Give exact detail. If they are approaching the streak soon, okay, so that's what we're assuming, right? What are the... You guys, I know you're trying to dissect what I'm saying, but listen to everything that I say exactly as I say it. What I'm asking for is name the 3 high algorithm tasks that low-level players use to bring in upgrades and factory tasks. Okay? So that would imply right before the streaks, you know, when do we do high algorithm tasks to bring in upgrades and factory tasks? Otherwise, right? Okay. I mean, yes, we can use a war booster, but that's not a high algorithm task. And that really would be kind of ridiculous. Okay, so name the 3. There's like the 3 that everybody knows about that we use. And that is gold keys, earn coins, and repair. But what did I say after that when I said give exact detail? Why am I asking you to give exact detail? Okay, you're training somebody, right? And they say, okay, you know, what do I do to get these last upgrades in? How do I secure these factory productions? And you say, well, you're going to do the earn coins, the keys, and the repair. So on the following week, they get a repair for 1,600. And it sits in their list until just before the streaks. And you're sitting there going, wait a minute, why didn't you do that? Well, you said that I don't do that unless it's to secure a high factory or a high an upgrade or a factory assignment. Oh, well, that's not what I meant. If it's at 1,600 or higher, you do it. Oh, so if it's at 1,200, is the only time that you mark it last resort rotatable and do it just before the streaks. Yeah. Okay, so if that's what you meant, then that's what you should have said, right? Because now you've completely misled the person, and now they've programmed this into their head to be a certain type of way, and now you said it in a different way, right? So when I said give exact detail, what I was actually looking for was the coins. It doesn't matter what value. So you really don't have to give a value, right? Because you never touch the coins, really. Hardly ever, unless it's just before the streaks. If you have to resort to touching the coins any sooner than 10 tasks remaining or so, then you've got big problems. By 10 tasks remaining, I mean about 30 tasks remaining. 10 tasks before the streaks. You start streaks at 20 tasks remaining. So now, give or take, if it's at 12 or 13, you've got all your upgrades in, you've already got some factory productions in, then yeah, you can probably resort to that in a rare occurrence. But the point is that the coin's value doesn't matter, right? But the repair in the keys does. If repair and keys are 1600 or higher, then you would do them for value opportunity, right? So that is the exact detail that I wanted you guys to give, because that's the exact detail that you're going to have to give somebody if you're training them. Okay, let's see here. Skip this. Number 6. Name 3 high algorithm tasks. This is tricky, as war boosters can bring in upgrades, but they don't have high algorithms. Okay, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you acknowledge that. But you didn't need to put it in here because, like you just said, they don't have high algorithms. So that wasn't part of the question, right? You guys have to learn, giving just enough information and giving too much information. Now, I'm the queen of giving too much information in my videos, but I do that so that you guys understand thoroughly. I could have just said, yeah, do the repair, the keys, the coins. The reason I stopped talking like that was because so many people would get confused and they'd be like, oh shit, but wait, 1600, this, that, and the other thing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you about war boosters if that's not what I meant, right? If it's a low algorithm task. Was my point. That's why I was telling you earlier, because I've already read her test, the whole war booster thing. It's not a high algorithm task, so there's really no point in telling me about it, right? In general, rotating your premiums is the right manner, would be used, result in upgrades. Again, Lala, not the question. I'm not talking about in general. I'm just asking the 3 high algorithm tasks that they use to rotate. Okay? So, name a no-touch task. Now, technically, anything could be a no-touch task, right? For both high and low-level players. It really just depends. But what you would either have to, 1, specify, well, for a high-level player, this would be a no-touch task. For a low-level player, this would be, or you would just have to find one that is basically no touch for both players. Now, she puts regular upgrade at 800. First off, I said name a no touch task, not 3. Okay. So if you would have just named 1, you wouldn't have got this question wrong. Okay. Technically, I have to mark you for what you said. Name a no-touch task. 800 regular upgrade is not always a no-touch task. If you're a low-level player and you are in a really shitty spot, okay, you've got a full bar of experience. We have rotated an 800 regular upgrade in the streaks. There are times where you would do this. That does not make it a no-touch task. 800 design upgrade. Okay, that one is a no-touch task, yes. Below 2,000 below monster. So I'm assuming 2,000 or lower. That's not correct. It's 1,500 or lower. So I'm torn on, should I mark you wrong because you got 2 of them wrong? Or should I mark you right for the one you got right? Technically, I only asked for 1, which you did get 1 out of 3 right. But I'm just making a point here that this right here shows me that you screwed up. You don't know what is a no-touch task and what's not. If you're going to train somebody, you need to know that. What is reverse rotation? Okay, sometimes when the game is not going predictable and the game is not giving you any tasks of high value at all after doing a few rotations even, then there is a need to save the premium tasks from getting wasted and instead do the tasks that you wouldn't normally do. Okay, so I asked, what is reverse rotation? You didn't really answer that so far. I mean, you kind of did. You said that after a few bad tasks, save your premiums is what I got from that. And that's not accurate, you know? So you're training somebody and that's the answer you give. They're going to assume that, well, I've had a few bad tasks, so I could be in reverse rotation. So I'm going to save my premiums. That's exactly how I would take that. And then, I don't know what EG means. Doing low non-premiums instead of high premiums and high non-premiums. The goal is to scramble the list to get it back to a point that gives the maximum benefit again. Okay, yes and no. Yes, you do want to scramble the list, and yes, you would resort to doing your non-premiums, okay? Usually of high algorithm. It really depends on the list. But yes, that is accurate, but that's not the answer I was kind of looking for. What I was looking for was reverse rotation is where every task in your list is of low value, okay? And every task coming into your list for several rotations is of low value. There is a huge difference between downtime and reverse rotation. You have to determine if you're actually in reverse rotation. We have never determined reverse rotation in just a few assignments, ever. We can assume that we might be falling into it, but we never change our rotation method until several assignments in, okay? Now, I did put in my answer, I put the example of, like I said in the beginning of this video, stars example. If you have something in the starting list or something that's been there for a long period of time, like 20, 30 assignments, and everything that's been coming in since then, that doesn't mean you're not in reverse rotation. So when you're looking at a list and I say that everything on that list has to be of low value, and you've had like one high upgrade that's been there from the start, but you've been getting garbage since then, you're probably in reverse rotation. You can't take it that literally. But let's say that you have 3 high upgrades that have been there since the beginning, okay? Odds are your doors are just blocked off, okay? If you're still getting any kind of high-valued assignments in any way, you're technically not in reverse rotation. You may be getting things you cannot do, which sucks, but that's not reverse rotation. I've had weeks where this person tried to rotate everything on their list or cancel something or whatever, and all they got was 1,000 point tasks. And it usually happens to everybody on their leaderboard, and it happens to everybody who plays, whether it be high or low level technique. Usually if low level players have reverse rotation week, then high level players get it the following week, is what I've noticed. It just depends. But the point being is that you guys have to, you can't make it sound like reverse rotation is so easily diagnosable, okay? This makes it sound like you can just tell after getting a few bad tasks. That's my point. Now, number 9, level 24 mega, 10 hours remaining. 10 hours remaining and still streaks not started. There is high chance that the player won't be able to complete the streaks. Why do you think that? Okay. So, why streak 1 is chems for 1,300. So, 10 hours remaining and they haven't started streak number 1. Why do you think that they wouldn't be able to finish their streaks? Why do you even think they're working on the streaks? You don't know what they're doing. Why don't you know what they're doing? Because there's not enough information to answer this question. What is the first thing that you guys look at? Okay, you've got setting the scene. That's the first thing you look at when grading a list, right? You've done that. Now you're looking at this person's list. You're grading them. What's the first thing you do? You need to look at tasks remaining, time remaining, level. Why is that important? It's all part of setting the scene. Okay? We look at city level, league, tasks. All this stuff matters. Why? Because it changes the outcome of this answer 100 times over again. Now, if you guys are playing or training somebody and you're not looking at this information all the time, then it's no wonder why you're coming to the wrong conclusion. Okay, for example, this states level 24. Okay, level 24. Great. Don't know if we have an experience bar or not, but we can work with that even. Mega. Okay, so we know we're in Mega. 10 hours remaining. All right, so the contest is about to be over. But we don't have tasks remaining. For all we know, they have 60 assignments left. It just says that they have a streak. For all we know, that they couldn't do the streak for some reason. We don't know. We don't know what the hell's going on. We don't even know how many tasks they have. If they have 75 tasks left, why would we be helping them at all? You can't answer questions unless you have all the right information. And the point being is that if you didn't notice that, that should have been the first thing you noticed when you looked at this list. When you go down here to look at this list, how do you miss that? I don't even know how you missed that. Because the first thing I would do is go, okay, wait a minute here. How many tasks are left? That's going to determine how I go about this. It says all upgrades are in the list. If we're, we know that there's only 10 hours left. So do we have an equal shot at winning? Well, we're not going to be doing feed if we only have 10 hours left. Streak 1 hasn't been started. The first thing I would do is notice that there's no damn tasks left on the... come on. That's the first thing I would be looking at. Especially for a low-level player, of all things. The very first thing that a low-level player does is the first 40 assignments is to secure factories and upgrade slowly as they rotate and hold a 2K average. By the time they hit 20 tasks remaining, they work on getting their final upgrades and securing streaks with any non-premium high algorithm tasks or securing factory productions. Then they begin the streaks at no later than 9 tasks remaining, complete the streaks using all 15 tickets. Or, if they already have all the high upgrades in their list and they've secured factory productions, they can start the streaks at 20 tasks remaining. When streaks are over, they can pick up where they left off, using their tickets, doing value over op, meaning they can do those high factory productions now that the streaks are over. The entire low-level comm is based on tasks remaining, and how you pick your tasks is going to depend greatly on time remaining, task remaining, league, all that. It all has a huge outcome of how your choices go. For example, if you weren't in Mega, we wouldn't be stacking up upgrades. We wouldn't be spending any cash. We would just be doing quick, fast, and easy points to get you promoted. That's what we would be doing, right? If you were a high-level player, well, we probably wouldn't be sitting here going, well, gee, how long's that 24 feed been sitting there? 2,400 feed. You still haven't started the streak, so you can't do it yet. We wouldn't be doing cargo. Why would we have all the upgrades in the list if we were a high-level player? We wouldn't really be doing that now, would we? So, you guys have to learn how to break down a list based on this criteria. Okay? If you're actually seriously looking at this list and coming up with any kind of an answer to it, that shows me right there that you've learned pretty much nothing from me. I don't even know how you can even draw a conclusion from this list of any kind. That's my point. Now, Lala, her answer was like, okay, wait a minute here. She was putting some thought into it. Like, okay, 10 hours remaining, if this is the case, if that is the case. But the point is, she's taken my test before. She knows. She should have just said, I can't answer it. I can't help you. If somebody comes to you and they don't give you the necessary information to answer it, you don't answer it. Because technically, you can't. You can give them some kind of half-ass answer, but technically you can't answer it. And if you can't answer it with the information that they've provided, then they can't answer it either. So they need to give you the necessary information or you don't help them. That's just how it is. It's why I won't help people when they haven't given me the history of their assignments. They have to give me an album. Don't send me your list midway and expect me to help you. That's not how I do things. I have to be able to look at everything. Just because you've concluded that that something wasn't overlooked doesn't mean that there wasn't something else, okay? List the order of rotation for high-level players. Highest main task with best opportunity and algorithm. Okay. Highest premium rotatable with high algorithm. First. Old Latin Omega Regional Airport. I'm assuming she's just listing off the order in which you would rotate upgrades. And then highest non-premium with lowest algorithm. Now, if you remember Star's answer, he didn't put the last portion. He just said do your high, your main tasks, and then do your highest premium. That's all he said. He didn't say anything about non-premiums and things like that. So the order of rotation is basically this. You do all of your main tasks, premium or non-premium, following the COM math method. Then, when all of your main tasks are gone, you immediately move to your rotatable tasks, starting with, obviously, your premiums of highest value, best opportunity, okay? Whether it be high premiums or premiums. So if you have a Latin 1200, that's a high premium. Then, after all your high premiums are gone, if you haven't gotten any more main tasks in, then you would go to your non-premiums, okay? So your non-premiums of lowest algorithm, because you want them to come back in the least amount in general, right? So if you have a 1200 repair, that's a high algorithm task. If you have a 1200, let's say, chairs, that is a low algorithm task with good opportunity. For a high-level player, that is a non-premium assignment. For a low-level player, that's premium. But this is a high-level player rotation, okay? So for high-level players, that is how you would rotate it. If that doesn't bring in any more main tasks, you just continue on with your list, rotating the best opportunity with the lowest algorithms. Okay, by then you should have come up with something. All right, let's go to TK's answers. Hang on here. Looks like I don't have her full answer sheet with me. I didn't add it in here. What? Give me a minute. Okay, so I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. All right, you guys, because her shit was really long, so I copy and pasted it into a Word document. What is the first thing you look at when grading a list? Setting the scene. That is correct. Okay. What is the difference in a task assessment and a COM breakdown? I got this backward last time, so let's see if I can get this right this time. COM breakdown is when you decide what is premium versus non-premium, no-touch, main, rotatable. Task assessment is where you determine opportunity, value over op, COM math. Okay, that's wrong. List 5 non-premium and 5 premium tasks. Low-level players, non-premium, keys, coins, VU repair, Paris deliveries, cargo, low-level premium, upgrade war card, war deliveries, Tokyo flights, VU launch legendary. Technically, launch legendary is a high premium, but, you know, that's kind of technically beating a dead horse here, but, you know, try to remember this, you guys, because this is important. High premium does make a big difference. All right, upgrade Omega homes. Let's see here. High-level non-premiums, cargo, keys, Neo coins, VU repair, upgrade regular residential, high-level premium, upgrade Omega homes, upgrade Tokyo homes, Paris homes, regional homes, and launch legendary again is a high premium. 4, if you start your week with an upgrade in the streaks, what do you do? Okay, this is new since I leveled, but from what I see, I would need to either cancel earlier on so it can appear in the main list, task in plenty of time before starting streaks, therefore sacrificing 1 streak for the contest. Okay, so right here you've automatically assumed that we're talking about a low-level player when we never said that, you know, so yeah. 5, What is the order in which you rotate high upgrades? Depends on the list. Okay. But you would do main tasks first. Let's see here. Old Town, Omega, Regional, London, Tokyo, Paris. Okay, so that one you got correct. Name 3 high algorithm tasks low-level players use to bring in high upgrades or factory productions. Give exact detail. This is new to me, but my answer is going to be VE repair, keys, coins. I do not believe a low-level player would try to do this until they were closer to 20 tasks remaining. Okay, so I was looking for the amounts because, like I explained already, the repair. Okay, so the streaks, 6. No, we got 6. Hold up. 7. Name a no-touch task. Depends. No-touch is something that you would absolutely not do during the contest under any circumstances. So, for example, if a monster comes in the original list for 1,000, you would not touch. But let's say the monster shows up for 2,500, it is now in the main task, and you would label it as a main task. So technically, she could have just said that a monster at rotatable value is a no-touch task, or 1,500 monster or below is a no-touch task, right? She gave an elaborated answer, but technically she got it right. But that is my point, right? Straight into the point. What is reverse rotation? Reverse rotation is when the game spits low premium tasks back to back to back, typically lasting several tasks. In this case, you would rotate out higher non-premiums before wasting the tasks on lower premium tasks until you're out of reverse rotation. But if you're having a rough week, no matter what you do, you are making and are making the correct choice. Checking the leaderboard helps since changes are good. If you are struggling, everyone is on the board as well. Okay, so the first part of this answer I would not give to somebody who's in training. What she said was, if you rotate your premiums and you keep getting low premiums in return, that means you're in reverse rotation. Technically, you could get low non-premiums in return. So just say getting low tasks in return. You may not always be rotating premiums. You may be rotating some kind of non-premium task. You know, you really don't know what the person's rotating at the time, but the point is that whatever they're rotating, they're getting garbage, right? Okay. Level 9. I cannot answer this mess. I have no idea how many tasks are left, experience level, tickets, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. Thank you. No shit. Okay. List the order of rotation for high-level players. First, you would do any main tasks and continue to do so until you run out. Once main tasks are done, you would look for premium tasks at lower values, such as Latin Old Town upgrades, and then try that doorway until all main tasks are done. Repeat as if necessary. This was wrong, okay? Part of it was right, it was mostly wrong. We've already done this one like twice. You guys have a picture of it. You've seen how it's been worded. How it gets worded is essential. Now, think, if this many people are getting these questions wrong, what does that tell you about their playstyle? If this is how their thought process is, if this is what goes through their head when they play their week, this explains why they make the mistakes that they make, because they're not focusing on the details of the answers. You know, they're not really focusing on the details of anything, really. You know, like, if you don't know the order of rotation, that's huge. It's a big deal for a high-level player to not know in what order in which you would rotate your stuff, right? Okay, give me just a second, you guys. Okay, here is the original test. What is the first thing that you do when grading a list? And you look at whatever. Set the scene, that is correct. What is the difference in a task assessment and a comp breakdown? The correct answer is a task assessment is when you say what you know about each task and you mark them premium, non-premium, high premium, no touch, cancel. Comp breakdown is when you go through and you label things main, rotatable, last resort rotatable, limited, and limited time. Okay? Remember that. List 5 non-premium and 5 premium tasks. Answers may vary based on high or low level players. Okay? If you start your week with an upgrade in the streaks, what do? Depends on if the player is high or low level, right? Okay. What is the order in which you rotate high upgrades? High premiums, Latin, Omega, regional. Okay. Airport, if equal value, then same as regional. One that's been sitting the longest. Designed regular. Non-premium makes them last. If at rotatable value, you will likely not do this. Okay. Straight to the point, simple, right? But I answered you. Now, name the 3 high algorithm tasks that low-level players use to bring in upgrades in factory. Give exact detail. Coins, any value. Repair, 1200 is LR. And only, well, it's supposed to say only done, before streaks at this value. Same as the third option, which would be keys for 1200. Name a no-touch task. Monster, below 2K. Okay. What is reverse rotation? Where no matter what you do, you get low value tasks in, that's supposed to say in return for more, or for several assignments, normally 10 or more, and every task in the list is of low value. In rare cases, if if you're a low level player, if you start the week with a high upgrade in the list and it has not, and haven't touched it, it's what it's supposed to say. I was typing this last night while I was making dinner. Haven't touched it, you could be in reverse rotation if that is in your list. Okay, so basically that's the example that I gave you guys already. You know, if something's been in the beginning of the list from the start, but that's like the only thing in the list, then you can pretty much, you know, conclude that you're probably in reverse rotation. If it's like 2 or 3 of them, then it's probably, odds are, is you just have a, you know, blocked off doorway. Level 24, mega, blah, blah, blah. Missing information, can't answer without knowing how many tasks are left. List the order of rotation for high-level players. Main tasks, premium or non-premium. Apply all comm math. Highest rotatable, high premium / premium with highest algorithm. Highest rotatable non-premium with lowest algorithm. All of these answers are straight to the point and exact. Okay? It's not that they elaborated on their answers that was the issue. It's that their answers were not correct, or they were partially correct, but they were incorrect in other ways. So if you can find a way to give the exact answer and give as much detail as possible without completely screwing yourself over, then good. You know, they weren't knocked for giving too much detail. The problem was their answers just weren't correct. Okay? What I've learned is the more detail that you give, the more words you have to be careful of tripping over, so to speak. You know, I try to keep everything exactly as it's supposed to be, and I try to keep everybody's advice the exact same. I do try to word things differently for certain players depending on the person, but for the most part, it's taken me like a year to figure out how to train people. You know, it's not an easy task training people. It's really not. Even when you understand something, putting it into words is not always the easiest way to go about it. And that's my point. You guys may get away with playing and winning every week, and maybe you make minimal to no mistakes because you're doing very well. But then a test comes and you're failing the test because you're having to put it into words. Things that are normally just kind of in your head. And that's what you would be doing if you were training somebody, is putting that stuff into words. So this video is really long. I'm going to go ahead and get it posted. If you did well on the test, put it down in the comments section. If you bombed it, put it down in the comments section. I am going to be giving out more tests. If you guys want them, let me know. But don't get discouraged because you failed or something. Take it as a learning experience. And yeah, good luck.